Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. It's funny. I was just thinking the other day about I was reading this blog post.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was all about how life is beautiful, and it really got me
I
thinking.
can see why. It's a big question.
It is, and, I figured it'd be a good one to, dive into with you.
Absolutely. It's one of those age-old questions, really, isn't it?
Totally. So the blog post is by this writer named Wheezy Heeman,
Okay.
and it's called, Life is Beautiful.
Straight to the point.
Right. And so Wheezy makes this point about, what is life?
Right. Got to start there, yeah.
Exactly. And she defines it as like this time between when you're born and when you die.
Makes sense.
And she argues that like within that time, there's just so much beauty to be found. It's just, it made me wonder if maybe like we're just missing it sometimes.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and not really see what's right there in front of us.
Totally. Like Wheezy uses this example of looking up at the stars at night.
Oh, I love that.
Right. Like who hasn't done that
Yeah.
and just felt like amazed by how vast everything is?
It's a powerful feeling.
It is, and it's so simple,
Yeah.
And I think for our listeners out there, I'd love to know what some of those things are for them,
Yeah.
What are some things that just make you stop and be like, wow, life is beautiful?
Like, what are those moments that just hit you right in the feels?
Exactly.
I think it goes back to this idea of mindfulness, being present.
Yeah.
Wheezy actually talks about this 5-minute exercise where you just stop and take it all in.
Really?
Yeah, just notice what you see, hear, smell, taste, touch.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's amazing what you start to notice.
I bet. But, Wheezy doesn't shy away from the fact that life isn't always easy.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, the blog post even talks about this like evil side of life.
Oh, wow.
And Wheezy even brings up the 2015 Nepal earthquake as an example.
That's a tough one.
It is. And, it makes you think, right? Like, how can we say life is beautiful when there's so much suffering in the world?
Yeah, it's a really complex question. How can we hold both, the joy and the sorrow?
Exactly.
I think for me, it's recognizing that beauty doesn't mean suffering doesn't exist. They exist side by side. And maybe the beauty comes from, how we respond to the tough stuff.
Like our resilience.
Exactly. Or compassion.
The way we help each other.
Yeah. Finding meaning even in the face of hardship.
And speaking of helping each other, Wheezy talks about sharing your life with others too.
Oh, absolutely.
And how that makes life even more beautiful.
I think that's so key. We're social creatures, right?
Yeah.
We crave connection, belonging.
Yeah.
And sharing our lives, the good and the bad, and it makes the experience richer.
It does. And something that really stuck with me was when Wheezy said, most people just don't see life as beautiful.
Oh, interesting.
They get so caught up in the negatives, the what ifs.
Yeah. They're almost choosing to miss out on all the good stuff.
It's like putting on blinders.
Exactly.
But, it really is a choice. We can focus on what's wrong, or we can choose to see the beauty.
Right.
And it's not about ignoring the hard things, but it's about actively looking for the light.
I love that. So basically, Wheezy's saying life is a gift, even with all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it's filled with beauty, but we have to choose to see it.
I think that's a great takeaway.
By slowing down, appreciating the little things, really being present with the people we love and finding meaning in the tough times, we can experience life so much more fully.
That's beautifully put. And it makes me wonder, for our listeners out there, if you were to write your own blog post called Life is Beautiful, what would you say?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What are those moments in your own life that have made you feel grateful to be alive?
Definitely something to think about.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
And we'll catch you next time.